I knew my dad was cheating on my mom, and I never told her. Yeah, that's my confession. It's been years now, but it still feels like I'm walking around with this giant secret strapped to my chest. Like one wrong word, and everything would just explode. People always say secrets eat you alive. They're right. I'm 28 now, but when this all started, I was 21. Still technically a kid, really, but old enough to know right from wrong, old enough to understand what I saw and what it meant. I grew up in what looked like a normal family. My parents weren't perfect, but they were stable. Or at least, that's what I thought. Mom was the glue, warm, reliable, the one who always remembered birthdays, who stayed up to help me with school projects, even after working a full day. She was selfless in a way that almost felt invisible. Dad? He was the fun one, loud, charming, quick with jokes, the kind of guy who could turn a boring barbecue into the best night of the summer. He wasn't strict, he wasn't scary. He was the dad people wished they had. And for most of my childhood, I believed they were still in love. Like, I used to brag about it. I'd say things like, my parents are actually happy together, when my friends were dealing with divorces or screaming matches at home. Turns out, I was just blind. The first time I realized something was off, it was stupid. A receipt. I was home from college for the weekend. Dad asked me to grab his jacket from the car. I reached in the pocket, pulled out his wallet, and this crumpled piece of paper fell out. It was a receipt for a hotel. 2 nights. A town 20 minutes away. At first, I tried to rationalize it. Maybe it was for work? Maybe he just needed a break? My brain went into overdrive, making excuses before I even thought about it. But I remember this cold rush down my spine, like my body knew before my brain would admit it. I shoved it back in, pretended I didn't see anything. But that was the start. A few weeks later, I saw him. I was meeting a friend for coffee downtown, and there he was, my dad. Sitting at a table outside with a woman who was definitely not my mom. She was younger, not young, but younger than Mom. She had this flowy dress, long hair, the kind of woman who makes people turn their heads. He was leaning in, touching her hand, smiling in that way he only smiled at Mom. I froze. Do I walk over? Do I pretend I don't see? My legs wouldn't move. I watched them laugh, watched her tuck her hair behind her ear, while he stared at her like she was the only person in the world. And then he kissed her. Right there. In public. My stomach dropped. That night, I sat at dinner with my parents, staring at my mom across the table while she told me about some casserole recipe she wanted to try. And I could barely look at her. I kept hearing this voice in my head. Tell her, tell her, tell her now. But then I looked at my dad, sitting there calm and normal, passing the salt like nothing was wrong. And I thought, if I tell her, everything blows up. The house, the family, the marriage, gone. And then another voice whispered, what if she already knows? That thought haunted me. What if she knew but pretended not to? What if this was their unspoken deal? And if I said something, I'd be the one to ruin it? Weeks turned into months, and I carried it like a weight no one could see. I started avoiding home. I'd make excuses to stay on campus longer, skip family dinners. Every time my mom hugged me, I felt like I was lying to her. And every time I saw my dad smile, I hated him a little more. I wanted to scream at him, ask him why. But I didn't, because deep down, I was scared of the answer. The breaking point came one night when I came home early from a party. I walked in, and my dad was on the phone. He didn't hear me. His voice was soft, low, the way people only talk when they're in love. And then I heard him say it. I love you too. I swear my knees almost gave out, because I hadn't even heard him say that to my mom like that in years. That night, I cried in my room like a little kid. I hated him, I hated myself, and I hated that I was too much of a coward to walk downstairs and say, I know, let me pause here and ask you something. If you were me, 21, stuck in the middle, would you have told her? Or would you have stayed quiet like I did? Seriously, I'm asking because I still don't know if my silence was protecting her or just protecting myself. Here's the twisted part. On the outside, my family looked perfect. Holidays, birthdays, Facebook photos, the smiling couple, the happy home. Sometimes I'd look at those pictures and want to scream, "It's fake! None of this is real!" But no one else saw it. And I kept the mask on too. The hardest part was being around my mom. She's this kind, trusting woman who's given her whole life to us. And every time she laughed, every time she leaned her head on Dad's shoulder, I felt sick. Because I knew he was betraying her. And instead of warning her, I just sat there like nothing was wrong. 7 years. That's how long I've been carrying this. I graduated, got a job, moved out, but every time I go home, it's like stepping back into a lie. Sometimes I catch myself staring at them, Mom humming while she makes dinner, Dad setting the table, and wondering if maybe she chose not to see it, like maybe she knew and decided ignorance was better, stability over truth. And sometimes I envy that, because for me, there's no unknowing, no going back. There was one night I almost did it, almost told her. We were sitting on the porch, just me and Mom. She asked me how school was going, if I was seeing anyone. Normal stuff. And then she sighed, real heavy, and said, "Marriage isn't easy, you know. People change. You just learn to live with things." Her eyes looked far away when she said it. And my heart stopped. Was she talking about him? Did she know? I wanted to ask. God, I wanted to. But the words stuck in my throat, and the moment passed. If you're still watching this, what do you think? Was I selfish for keeping quiet? Or was it the right call? Drop it in the comments, because I swear I've replayed this 1,000 times, and I still can't land on an answer. My parents just celebrated their 35th anniversary. From the outside, it looks like a love story. But me? I can't look at them the same. Sometimes I wonder if I robbed her of the chance to leave, to build a better life without him. Other times I wonder if maybe I spared her years of pain she didn't need to know about. I go back and forth. I still don't know. Here's the part that keeps me up at night. A few months ago, I was at my parents' house for dinner. My mom poured me a glass of wine, smiled, and out of nowhere she said, "You've always been such a loyal kid. I know you'd never keep something important from me." And I just froze. Because she has no idea that's exactly what I've been doing all these years. So yeah, I knew my dad was cheating, and I never told her. And maybe the real confession is that I don't regret keeping the secret. What I regret is that it turned me into someone I don't even recognize anymore.